Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes and welcome to another Galactic challenge video. Hope you had a relaxing weekend behind you and that you're looking forward to get your week started. But first, a brand new challenge is upon us and today we are taken to the planet of Geonosis, where we have to take down a squad of Scoundrels using Old Republic. So as always, I'll cover the modifiers and defeats first, then show you the battles. So 2 battles needed today to get max rewards. So the first one will be the Old Republic squad, and then the second one will be Pulp Mara team again for the stun. It looks like this is the 3rd week in a row where we have a stun feat. So anyway, some sort of Pulp Mara team I think will be the easiest, so that's what I'll be doing. So if you're just interested in the battles, there'll be YouTube chapters below as always. But otherwise, let's have a look at the modifier for Geonosis, the Geonosis Arena. Doesn't really make a whole lot of difference today, so whenever we use a special ability, we'll gain a stack on entertainment. But obviously, we won't be using our specials too much, so we don't get counterattacked with AoEs and things like that. So mostly we'll be sticking to basics, and that's because the modifier for Old Republic does a lot of things. Most importantly, whenever we do use a basic, we're dealing true damage to all enemies. And obviously then Canderous will go crazy because of his unique, triple tapping on his basic, gaining bonus turn meter over and over again. So mostly we'll be really utilizing basics here, so not really beneficial modifier today. And then the Scoundrels, they have the good Scoundrel modifier. Again, it does a lot of things, but most importantly, these guys, while buffed, they do have 50% counter chance, and all the free fats, right, they start off with bounty hunt resolves, so they will be countering, but we have a ways to kind of manage those counter attacks thanks to the days. Now let's talk about the Old Republic options here. Now there are probably many different combinations you can do this. If you have high relics, you could maybe do like a Jedi team with Canderous or something like that. But as you can see here, none of my guards are relics, so for this I think more lower gear Old Republic squads, car fleet will be the way to go, but you will need to have a Zeta on his lead, so you get the healing there from damage over times. I also saw that some people were saying that Sortie was a great 5th option, because like she can put VIP on Canderous, or you know, whoever's the weakest, they gain stealth and things like that, so they don't get counterattacked. But again, as you can see, my sword here nowhere near ready, so this was able to work with in this account. So let's quickly go over the mechanics so just that you understand what's happening here. So the key here with car fleet, obviously you will need Zeta on him, so that whenever we inflict a damage over time, we will be gaining recovering health and protection, so we can constantly keep healing up, because Canderous will be going bananas with his damage over times. If you don't have Zeta on car fleet, then this will most likely not work. You will have to maybe try Jedi Knight Revan. In terms of mods, now all the units here, I think with the exception of Jedi Knight Revan, I just modded for protection. So all mods like circle, cross, triangle and arrow, all protection primaries, because at low gear, these guys obviously when the enemies, they do unleash their AoEs, they could get killed quite quickly. Zalbar here, I just want to point out on his unique, whenever he's hit, he will gain 20% stacking defense until he takes a turn. So I'll be utilizing that a little bit, randomly hitting kind of the enemy so they can counterattack, hit Zalbar, so Zalbar can keep stacking defense. So once Boba gets a turn, for example, he won't be able to do a lot of damage to Zalbar and kill him. Otherwise, I do have here Zeta on unique here from Zalbar. I'm not sure if it's needed or not. I just wanted to point out that I do have it equipped. I don't think it's really needed, to be honest. And then again, same thing as everybody else, just stack them with protection when it comes to modding. Jedi Knight Revan, I didn't remod him actually. Why I'm using Revan here is because direct focus will increase the cooldowns on the target enemy, so that's what we'll be doing. We'll increase cooldowns on Boba, so then once he gets a turn, he can't nuke your Zalbar and regain Bounty Hunter's Resolve. This was enough for Revan to survive that AoE in the beginning that enemies will be doing heading your way. And then in terms of mission, on her basic, she can inflict daze, which will obviously stop them from counterattacking. So once you spread the daze, you can then start using more special abilities and AoEs. Again, I do have Zeta here on missions unique. Again, not sure is it needed here or not, to be honest, but I just wanted to highlight that I do have it equipped. Not sure if it makes much difference in terms of modding. Again, as much protection as I could for protection primaries so she can survive. Then we've got Scoundrels. He's the MVP in this one. He's unique. Whenever Scoundrels deals damage, he inflicts a damage over time. And remember the modifier, whenever we do basic, we deal true damage to all enemies. So essentially he's got an AoE damage over time ability on his basic, which is pretty nice. And then from his basic there, and then from his other unique, no Zeta needed here, he's getting a bunch of bonus turn meter whenever he's damaging an enemy, so it's pretty cool. And then on his basic, he's triple tapping, even landing tenacity down and things like that, so he will be going crazy. And finally his AoE here does land offense down for 2 turns, which I guess could come in handy, but most likely whenever enemies take a turn, they'll just get defeated by damage over times and lose this offense down. I just wanted to point it out. And same thing with modding, just as much protection as I could so he can survive the opening AoE from Boba. Alright, let's hop in a battle and let me show you. So to begin with, you just have to survive the AoE from Boba. My card there barely surviving. He didn't survive first couple of times, had to restart until he survived. And to begin with, just basics on L3, just keep hitting her over and over again. Get her down, because otherwise she'll constantly be taunting, constantly cleansing. So just basics. Obviously her counterattacks don't do a whole lot of damage. Once Revan gets a turn, you will want to mark Boba here, so you increase his cooldowns, because once he gets a turn, he will die from damage over times, revive, and then he can obviously nuke somebody with his big execute ability and regain Bounty Hunter's resolve. That's why I increase his cooldowns, so then all he can do is use basic, and Zalbar, at least at gear 12, will be able to take basic from Boba without any problems. There we go, just keep doing basics here on Boba, keep those damage over times flowing. Once you get more than 20 stacks of damage over times, enemies will get defeated when they get a turn. So here Zalbar had low turn meter, so I started hitting enemies a little bit just to get some counter attacks, just so that Zalbar keeps stacking his defense whenever he's hit. I'm just going to do here another AoE, clean off all these debuffs, get more counterattacks, more stacking defense here from Zalbar. I'm just getting ready for Boba's turn, so that Zalbar hopefully will have high defense so he can take that basic. There we go, we got more counterattacks there, that's good. Let's go out now using basics to heal up Zalbar. Okay, there we go. Old Boba getting in here with his AoE. But it's okay, we got some counterattack, assists, more damage over times, more healing. So you can see Boba's got a lot of damage over times on him already. We'll just keep going, just basics now. There we go, he died, and Zalbar there with help of stacking defense, and Boba being able to only do basic because I increased his cooldowns. I was able to survive, and now it's just a case of reapplying damage over times on everybody. And as soon as they get turned, they will just die off. And there you go, guys. That's how with, you know, kind of lowish gear, Old Republic, really kind of the Old Republic that you geared up to unlock your Darth Revan and Darth Malak, they can get the job done as long as you obviously increase cooldowns there on Boba with your Revan. Okay, so that took care of the Old Republic feats, so we got 2 remaining feats to do, the Undersize and the Stun. So as in the previous video, the easiest way to do this is Pulp Mara. I'm also bringing in Gideon here, because if you do get him above 355 speed, he'll be able to outrun Boba, do the control situation, push back turn meter. Now, instead of Traya, if you do have Darth Malak unlocked, I do not have in this account, he's a better option than Traya, because when you start with control situation, he will gain taunt, and then they will constantly be hitting him, getting fear, and obviously Palpatine, Mara, they constantly applying shocks, so Malak will pretty much have a taunt on him all the time, but I don't, so I'm gonna use Traya, so at least I can isolate L3, so she's not getting bonus turn meter. However, isolation will still not prevent L3 cleansing. Looks like the debuffs on the enemies, so you have to be a little bit careful when it comes to you, especially using AoEs, because obviously counterattacks can take out your guys quickly. But luckily, the Moralize that Gideon applies obviously will reduce their damage a little bit as well. Let's go ahead, control situation. So here, if you would have Malak, you would get a taunt on him, but I don't, so I'm just gonna use Traya to isolate whenever she gets a turn. So the first move, especially because I do not have Malak, I'm gonna use this ability need to go under stealth, because 2 AoEs back to back, not sure Mara will be able to survive. So now she's in stealth, no counter attacks. Let's go ahead and get some stuns out there, and now I can finally isolate L3, so I don't have to worry about her taunting. And now we can just go ahead, spread a shock. Obviously I do not want to target Boba there because he's not stunned, so he can counter attack. So I'm just gonna go ahead here, go under stealth again, couple of counter attacks, was able to survive. Let's see if we can get a stun on the other Boba. Now that we're in stealth, we can target Boba, get a daze on him. Now he won't be counter attack, and then obviously we can now let the hate flow here with Palpatine, constantly getting lots of bonus turn meter, stuns, shocks, you know how it goes. So the goal here is to kind of keep spreading the shock, keep spreading the daze, stagger, stuns, keeping everybody under control. And especially obviously once L3 does go down, then you know you don't have to worry about these guys getting cleansed. Okay, there we go, got everybody stunned again, spreading shock, spreading daze. And then Gideon as well, once he gets his AoE out, he's got a daze as well, which is nice. L3 still being a little bit annoying with her cleansing. Finally got L3 down, and at this point it's pretty simple. Again, if you do have Malak instead of Traya, I was able to do that in my main account where I do have Malak. Obviously I was able to just auto this for the stuns, so definitely there's plenty ways to get this done quite easily without manually playing. But here I do not have Malak unlocked yet, so I just have to do with Traya. If you don't have Traya as well, maybe Thrawn could be a good option with a fracture then on L3, that could maybe help as well. But this worked pretty well for me, just finishing off the remaining 2 Bobas, and there we go, finish him off. And this now completed Undersize as well as Stun Feat in a single battle. Alright guys, so that's all what I wanted to show you today. Hopefully it was useful and helpful, just showing you the 2 teams that I used to get max rewards in this kind of mid-game account, where obviously I do not have everything. Also Old Republic, they're not that high gear up, not relic up. Let me know how you guys are getting on in the comments below or on my Discord server. But until then, have fun, enjoy your life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.